Hello and welcome to another episode of Open and Shut Book Reviews. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining me, and I want to talk a little bit about a book that I really tried to get through. I did, but I just couldn't do it, and that book is called One Day in December by Josie Silver. Now, I really wanted to like this. Okay, I'm a sucker for a love story, as evidenced by the fact that I saw Braveheart 14 times at the movie theater and Titanic 13 times. Not kidding. Now, I'm usually willing to suspend disbelief and just enjoy the tale. However, there is a well-worn trope that I just cannot abide by anymore. Now, for books and movies I've already spent time with, I can make an exception. But for new stuff, I just cannot invest the time. And that's what happened with this book. So, very basic plot synopsis. Our protagonist Lori sees a guy while she's on the bus and he's sitting on the bench of the bus station. They make eye contact, and at the last minute he decides he's going to try to get on the bus, but he doesn't make it. And then she spends the better part of a year trying to find him with the help of her manic pixie dream girl roommate, Sarah. She and Sarah do end up finding the guy, but the drama, which is caused by the way the discovery of the guy happens, it's all artificial, and it could have easily been avoided if people had just talked to each other. And that is the trope that I cannot even waste time on anymore. So 6 chapters in, I noped right out, which is sad because there was potential for this to be a much more interesting story. But the drama felt completely artificial given how all the characters had related to each other from the very beginning of the story. So for me to engage with any story, I have to believe in the actions of the characters. And when I see one or more of them acting in a way that's completely out of character, just to manufacture the conflict the author had in mind, I can't go along with that. It takes me right out of the story. If you, however, are the kind of person who enjoys stories where conflict and drama happen because people just won't open their mouths and say what needs to be said, then this book is for you. So for me to really rant about this book, I need to talk about stuff that's spoilerific. So brace yourself, here it comes, it's time for the spoilers. You see, my big problem is Lori. When Sarah brings home the guy that she's been hooking up with over the last few weeks around the holidays, right? And that guy ends up being the guy that Lori has been searching for almost a year. She doesn't just say, "Sarah, what the hell? That's the guy." Then you could tell a much more interesting story about how they'd work through that situation together. They've been roommates for years, they tell each other everything. So for Lori to just all of a sudden clam up and keep quiet about the fact that her best friend is hooked up with her unicorn is completely false. It's a false thing for her to do. She would not do it. Also, there's no way Sarah doesn't know that her hookup is the guy. Okay, Lori has described him in such detail, and they have both been looking for him for almost a year. Lori herself actually says, quote, "I've described him so many times, Sarah probably knows what he looks like more than I do." And as far as Sarah goes, she's described as one of those magical girls who can get any guy that she wants. So why the hell would she even take a chance of hooking up with a guy who looks so much like the guy that got away from her so-called best friend? I mean, who does that? What kind of friend is Sarah anyway? She's awful. And it was at that point in the book that I just had to nope out and say, I'm not going to do it. So yeah, that about sums up why I just gave up. All right, back to the normal part of the program. And that's it. I can't really say anything else about this book. For me, it was a turducken of suck. For those of you who do like that kind of story, I will put the link in the description below for you to grab the book for yourselves. And that's it. Thanks again for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to me, ken@openandshutreviews.com. You can also follow me over on Twitter @oshutreviews. Until next time, I'm Ken McKim. You take care and read more books.